What is up, my loves? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Natalie Hughes. I am a life mindset and manifestation coach. On my platform and in my business, I support self-led women in creating emotionally fulfilled, purpose-driven lives. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a free training. As I was planning for this video, I realized this information is really good and it can definitely be used to support the students inside of my Receiver's Mindset course. So after this video gets published to YouTube, I'll add it into the course and I'll make sure to put some journal prompts, might even create a little fillable digital journal in order to further help you integrate the shifts that I'm giving you in this video. We'll talk more about that later. Let's jump into today's topic. We're having a conversation about valuing yourself as a means to receive more. When you're ready to receive more, there's a shift that has to happen when it comes to your values. And to start off this conversation, I want us to really define what is value. Inside of the course, I define value as something that impacts a feeling state for the better. So something that makes you feel better. That's it. That's bottom line. What is value? And this one idea and concept of value can be applied to a million different little things. So we're going to get into that as we move throughout the video as well. The first thing I want you to understand is what happens when your values change to reflect what you desire. When your values change to reflect what you desire, you become exclusively available for what you want. So I'm going to jump right into an example. Value is something that impacts your feeling state for the better. When I was growing my business, at the beginning of my business, I valued $25 because I had the perspective of like, I want this money to get this thing right now. Getting $25 for a tarot reading seems like a pretty good deal when you're just going to use that money to go buy lunch after you're done with a live stream. My values have changed and shifted as the woman who's building a business, who's really, really invested in getting herself as many Maki Mak and Jimmy Choo shoes as the world can give her. That woman is not spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on shoes if she doesn't have months and years of savings just for her basic necessities. That woman prioritizes putting money into investments. That woman prioritizes putting money aside for her wardrobe, putting money aside for her travel, putting money aside for her technology. That woman has multiple accounts that she wants to look filled, that she wants to be good for her before she goes and spends hundreds and thousands of dollars on shoes. Because what happened in my life experience was I made money and then I spent money and then I would feel unsafe because there's no money in my accounts, and then I'd make more money and then I'd spend more money, and then I would feel unsafe because there's no money in my accounts, and then I would make more money and then I would spend all the money, and then I would feel unsafe because there's no money in my accounts, and then I transitioned into really just doing coaching full time. And then I had to believe in my ability to make money as a coach. We're also talking about valuing yourself to make more money, and we're really getting there. Give me a second. So I had to value myself and I had to value my offers in order to make more money. And as I'm valuing myself and valuing my offers in order to make more money, my relationship with money has changed. My perception of the value of certain amounts of money has changed because of my financial goals. Because my financial goals are to grow and expand wealth quickly and easily, $25 doesn't hold the same value to me that it did in 2019. $25 doesn't positively impact my feeling state in the way that it did in 2019. And we're going to talk about relationships as well in a second, just for example's sake. So my values have changed in that regard. The way that I value money is different. Receiving $1,700 for one of my courses, I consider that to be valuable. That's something that positively impacts my feeling state. How do you know if the amount of money that you're receiving isn't aligned with your values? Look at how you feel when you receive money. I knew that the money that I was receiving didn't align with my values, because when I would receive money in smaller increments, I would feel disappointed. I would feel discouraged. I did not feel any of the ways that people talk about how you're supposed to feel when you make sales. Oh, I'm so grateful that sales are coming in. When I was doing more work for coaching and I was getting course sales for the first time in 2023, in the beginning it was like, yay, I'm getting course sales. But then it was like, oh, I'm not getting course sales that are helping me reach my financial goals. I'm not getting course sales that are helping me create and build wealth for myself. I'm not getting client payments and enrollments and all that good stuff that's helping me reach my financial goals and grow and expand. So if you're receiving money and it's not positively impacting your emotional state, then your values are probably not aligned. You're probably not receiving money that aligns with what you actually want, the kind of lifestyle that you value, the kind of lifestyle that you're choosing to create for yourself. And so our values in this way are going to change over time. When it was 2019 and I was just starting out my business, I wanted to have my own apartment, but I didn't really have a relationship with money. I didn't really have a relationship with responsibility. I didn't see money in a supportive way. Not like I didn't see money as something that could support me. I just didn't have that mindset. I didn't really care about savings. My relationship with money was that it was hard to have savings. My relationship with money, it's like back then I still wasn't making enough money. So it's like, I didn't plan on our conversation going here. So it's like, if you're watching this and you're already not making enough money, then that could possibly hold on. I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to go there because I feel myself taking it someplace that we really just don't need to go. Have that conversation with yourself. Look at how much money you're making. Do you feel satisfied with the amount of money coming in? Do you feel satisfied with every single check? Do you feel satisfied with every single sale? I did not want to have an experience where it's going to take me 10 sales before I feel satisfied, because then I feel cheated. That's it. If I'm giving you one course that's going to change your life, then I should be receiving one sale that's also going to change my life. $25 doesn't change my life. Less than $100 doesn't change my life. Hundreds of dollars doesn't change my life. Thousands of dollars changes my life. So then we're having a conversation about value and receiving equal value. What happens when you value yourself? Hold on, before we get there, we have to talk about the relationship one. So my values in money changed. My values in my career changed because my financial goals changed. My understanding of money changed. My relationship with money changed. I realized after feeling really safe and insecure financially for a lot of years in business that having savings is something that's really important to me. When I have months and months of savings in the bank, I feel safe and secure. I feel more relaxed. I just feel more financially safe and secure. I did not prioritize having savings in the bank and all of that stuff because some financial person told me that it was irresponsible for me to save for me to spend money if I didn't save it. It wasn't about that at all. It wasn't about pleasing somebody else. It was strictly about my own value. It was strictly about how I felt. And I felt unsafe and insecure. I was traveling across the country and I was going from one place to the next. And when I got to the next place, I had to make the money for food and gas and the money for the next place all within the span of a couple of days. So I was constantly, my nervous system was just a mess. I felt unsafe. I felt insecure. And because I felt unsafe and insecure, I couldn't enjoy my travels. It's like, yes, I was going to places and yes, I was having amazing experiences, but I really wasn't able to go to places and really rest and really relaxed. I wasn't relaxed. I wasn't going to places and, getting massages and getting facials. It was also COVID, so a lot of stuff was closed down, but that wasn't how I wanted to travel. And when I realized that that wasn't how I wanted to travel, I wanted to travel in a more luxurious way. I wanted to travel in a more comfortable way. I didn't want to drive 5-6 hours to get from one state to the next every single day. There's just a lot of things that I decided I was never going to be available for again. And that's one of the reasons why I really haven't done a lot of travel over the past several years, because my values changed. At some point, my value was just, I want to get out there. I want to go. I want to experience life. I want to be in one place to the next. My values no longer reflect that. I have that experience. I'm done with that experience. I now value comfort more than I value travel. So my values changed and expanded. Because I value comfort more than I value just traveling, I'm not going to travel if I can't travel comfortably. There's a shift in my values. Because I also value travel and because I also value comfort, now I value making enough money to support me in traveling comfortably. Because I value making enough money to support me in traveling comfortably, now my relationship with my financial responsibility is coming into that. I'm not traveling comfortably and I have bills that aren't paid at the same time because I have that experience of traveling and having to decide between buying food or paying for my next Airbnb and paying my cell phone bill. I had that experience. That experience is absolute hell. I would not recommend it to anyone. So I understood that if I'm traveling and my financial responsibilities aren't taken care of, that's like a hole in my energetic field. There's a part of my focus that is always focusing on the bills that have to be paid. There's a part of my focus that is always focusing on the things that I have not taken care of. What did I realize about myself? I'm not the kind of person who can, what was that early 2000s Pitbull song? Early 2000s, early 2010s, where they're like, I know that my rent was not going to be paid a month ago. I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay it, but I have just enough to get inside the club. No. No, no, no. I realized that I couldn't be that person. I realized that I could not live in that way. That racks my nervous system. It makes me feel incredibly unsafe, anxious all of the time. Hell no. I couldn't do it. I couldn't live that way. I couldn't have a life where I was always worried about whether or not bills were going to get paid. So I became even more specific around what bills I'm willing to take on, what financial responsibilities I'm willing to agree to because of my previous experience. So for me, that's something that is really important, is that my values are a reflection of my own lived experience or the things that I've observed and the conclusions that I've come to based on the things that I've observed, but still it's based in me. It's not based in I'm doing this because somebody else told me that I had to do it. I don't live like that. I don't live like that. I don't live following orders that other people give just because they said so. No, I live it. I experience it. Okay, this is something that I actually want and desire now. And for me, there's a certain level of purity that comes from that. Because when it's a decision that you're making, not something that somebody else told you that you have to do, it's more genuine, it's more authentic, and it's easier for you to stick to it. So there's a little extra message in there. When you're changing and growing and expanding your values, do it because you want to do it, not because somebody else told you that in order to be high vibe, you have to, or in order to be a high value woman or man or human being that you have to. Like, no, that's not the thing. That's not genuine. That's not authentic. That's a fake mask, and it can fall off at any time. It's a waste of your time. So if you want to suffer and you want to have a life experience where you're struggling, whether it's financially or in your relationships, then do that. And when you're done with that, then you'll be committed to creating something else. And that's why I really talk a lot about not forcing yourself to do mindset work, not forcing yourself to change and grow and expand and all of that stuff. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. And then live the life that you live as a consequence of not doing it. And then maybe at some point, you'll decide to do it. So you'll either suffer or you decide to do it, but the choice is yours. So, okay, what is your value? What is value? Value is something that impacts a feeling state for the better. So you have value that you give to other people, and other people have value that they give to you. In my case, the value that I give to other people is my intellectual and energetic property, my coaching, life mindset, manifestation, coaching. The value that I give to other people is in my courses. The value that I give to other people is in my meditations. The value that I give to other people is in my digital journals, right? My products, my offers, my services. I'm giving them the value of the things that I have learned about life, manifestation, and mindset, right? The value that they have to give me is money. And the value that they have to give me is who they are, their identity, self-led women. I'm specific on the kind of women that I want to work with because of my values in my business. Making money to me feels the best when I'm working with women who are going to take what I give them and run with it. I want my clients to get amazing results, not just because I want to have amazing testimonials, but because that's a part of my life purpose to help women live out their fullest potential. I want to exclusively work with women who are going to take my content and do amazing things with it, because that would make me feel in integrity about the things that I'm charging for. A self-led woman who's committed to getting the answers, she's going to take it, she's going to run with it, she's going to do what she needs to do with it, she's going to show up for herself. The woman who's not self-led, the woman who's not all in, the woman who doesn't care if she gets it or not, she's going to pay me the money, she's not going to show up, she's not going to get a great result. I don't feel like shit about it, but it just doesn't light me up to have that experience. So the value that my customers are giving me is not just in the money that they're giving me, it's also in their character. It's also in how they show up. It's also in how they behave when it comes down to customers, or if you're working a job where you're not an entrepreneur, or you're working with clients, or you're working with a company. Their values, their behaviors, their way of being, that's all going to go into the value that they bring you. Sometimes the value that people bring you is, or are, the value that people bring you are, the value that people bring you is in the people that they know. If they're a very prestigious company and they have a lot of clients and they know a lot of people and they host amazing events and you can go network with different people at those events, that's something that brings you value. All of these things are aspects of people's personalities or their traits, their behaviors, their characteristics that impact your feeling state for the better. So value is pretty broad in that way. You've got value that you bring people, they have value that they bring you. Money, characteristics, behaviors, your own value, your own characteristics, your own behaviors, your own values, like your personal beliefs, also contribute to the value that you bring to others. Like, for example, what I just talked about, my beliefs and expectations that I specifically want women who are going to come into my world and who are going to show up for what they want. The fact that I'm somebody who exclusively wants self-led women, self-led people inside of her programs, that value is probably really going to speak to my ideal client or my ideal customer. Because I'm a woman who has integrity. I'm somebody who doesn't just want money to receive money. I'm somebody who wants money in a way that's going to support me and my clients and customers. I want it to be a win-win scenario. And I want you to put just a little bit of salt, a little bit. I want you to take that with a grain of salt, because I'm going to get even further into that in a second. Before I do that, here's the example of romance. Okay? Oh my God. Oh. Okay. Because I have to be honest and I have to be valuable. And I knew that I was going to give you an example of romance, but I didn't know I was going to give you a personal example that would be embarrassing if I didn't have self-compassion, which I do. So let's move on. Years ago, oh my God, years ago, lifetimes ago, many years ago. Oh my goodness gracious. Years ago, like 2017, what I valued from men was I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. Okay. What I valued from men was attention. What I valued from men was attention. Yes, that is true. I valued attention from men more than I valued emotional availability. I valued attention from men. I valued men who affirmed my own beauty. So I valued attention more than I valued the content of their character. I valued attention more than I valued their emotional availability. I valued attention and validation more than I valued love and connection, intimacy, closeness, men who were willing to have commitment, men who had integrity, men who just stuck to their word, okay? So I valued attention more than I valued a lot of really important, meaningful shit. In 2017, I was not dating for marriage. I was just in New York City, on the dating apps, living her best life. I was just in New York City on the dating apps, living my best life is what I was doing. Over the years, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Saved me. Over the years, my values have changed. Why? Because I want my last name dropped, meaning I want to be married. I want my eggs cracked, meaning I want a child. And if you know Tiffany, then you know where that quote comes from. And if you don't, then maybe you just think I'm very hilarious, and I'll take either of those. Now my values are different because I'm a woman who wants to be married. Because I'm a woman who wants a serious commitment. Because I'm a woman who wants her life partner. Those are two completely different desires there. When you have shakable value, oh, the guy's not emotionally available, but I just need to be held right now. When you don't have that experience of knowing what your value is and holding that value, not being able to be swayed around that value, it doesn't matter that the guy's emotionally unavailable. It doesn't matter that the guy is just offering me sex. It doesn't matter that the guy doesn't give a fuck about who I am as a person. It doesn't matter that the guy doesn't, want to get to know me. I just want to be held. I just want closeness. I just want physical intimacy. You value physical intimacy more than you value your emotional well-being. You value physical intimacy. You value validation from a man more than you value your emotional and mental well-being. We're having a conversation about value. When you don't value your emotional well-being, when you don't value your mental well-being, when you value attention and you value validation more than your emotional and mental well-being, then you'll hook up with the guy and then he goes to you and you're going, I don't understand. I thought that we had such a great connection, but you didn't. You just did not. And it's not that you might not have soulmate connections with people. I think everybody is your soulmate. I think you're watching this video, you're my soulmate in a way. I think everything is divinely orchestrated to connect in a certain way. So it's not that you can't have soul connections with people, but intimacy and depth, safety and security in a relationship, you don't have intimacy and depth, safety and security in a relationship with someone who ghosts you and just stops talking to you, who has shitty communication. It just doesn't match up. It just doesn't add up. So we're having a conversation about values and how your values change over the years, and how the woman who wants a relationship and the woman who wants to be committed, she has different values. She values her emotional well-being. She values her mental well-being. She values a feeling of safety and security. It is very interesting to me how my values have changed and shifted, and how the type of man that I'm attracted to, I'm not saying that if you want a man who's ready for commitment, then he has to be ugly or anything like that. But the way that my values have changed, and the way that men who might not be like, what's attractive to me, I'm trying to be sensitive with the way that I say this. What's attractive to me has just really drastically changed. There's a lot of things that just don't matter to me as much, and I'm not saying that it has to not matter to you. But my emotional and mental well-being matters more than anything else. So a man who supports me emotionally and mentally is the most attractive man, period. And I'm sorry if you hear my laptop acting like it's about to blow the fuck up in the background. What can we do? So your values change over time, or your values change as you become aware of what you actually want. Your values change as you become aware of what you desire. You could have started off working in your company. You could have started off working in your industry like, okay, well, I'm willing to have roommates. Okay, well, I'm willing to have this type of experience. Now you're having a life experience where you're like, I want to buy my own house, or I want to be able to afford to live on my own, or I want to be able to drive my dream car. When you become aware of the fact that your values now are aligned with living on your own, living more comfortably, taking more vacations, having more time freedom, when your values change, what you're willing to accept also changes. What you see as a good deal also changes. And that's normal. So when you're deciding to receive more, you've got to reassess what your values are. The person who is created a business that is deeply and completely supporting them, who's financially independent and free through their business, That woman doesn't have availability to meet with people for less than $1,000 a month. Less than $1,000 a month does not bring her value. And for you, maybe it's less. I don't fucking know, and I really don't care. Less than $1,000 a month does not bring her value. And even then, how many clients do you have to make $10,000 a month? That's like 10 clients a month. How often are you seeing them? How many calls are you getting on? Okay, my personal values, I don't like doing all of that. I don't love having a lot of personal clients. It's not a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. I don't like doing it. I like having time freedom. I like growing and expanding. My idea of a successful business is one where I rarely work with people one-on-one, and I mostly make my money off of my course sales, digital products, offers, maybe the program that I'm creating if I feel like creating a program at that time, because I do like that community feel. But hours and hours and hours meeting with clients every single month, it's just not something that I want to do. So your values can also be impacted by your preferences. What kind of work do you want to do? If you value working from home and you're somebody who's willing to hold their value, then you're not going to entertain the idea of a position where they're asking you to come into the office. I value working from home. Okay, let's move on. We know what value is. We know what happens when you value yourself. What happens when you don't value yourself? You have an experience of codependency. I don't like that answer directly in response to that question, but what I want to talk about is this codependency on other people's validation. You're a business owner, you have an offer, you have a product, you have a service. I want to be making this much per hour. I want to be making this much per client, but nobody's buying, so I'm going to take down my price. Nobody's buying, so I'm going to do a sale. That's an indicator that your values are shakeable, that your values aren't strong, that you don't value your work, you don't value your intellectual property, you don't value your energetic property, you value making money more than you value the content, energy, and property, the content, energetic property, and intellectual property of your work. And it sounds interesting because it's like, well, of course I value money. But when you start thinking from this different perspective, when you start thinking from the perspective of that version of you who's making more money, no, I don't value making money more than I value the content and the energetic and intellectual property of my work. I don't value money more than I value my work. Because if I value money more than I value my work, I'll do anything, just give me the money. You can have my energy, you can have my content, you can have my intellectual property, just give me the money. Somebody's paying me money, so I have to go above and beyond just because they're paying me money. You have wonky boundaries when you value money more than you value your content, your energetic property, and your intellectual property. There's a wonky energy there. There's a funkiness there where you're wobbling. You're willing to receive less, and then you just set yourself up for resentment. You just set yourself up for resentment. And it happens in relationships too. Because people come into my world and then they thrive. People get access to my content and then they thrive. So when people get access to my content and people get access to my work, and then they go out into the world and they thrive and they create amazing things for themselves and they make thousands and thousands of more dollars, and they build out a reputation for themselves, and they get amazing results from my work, and I'm still where I was when we started working together. It makes me feel resentful as fuck. And whose fault is that? Mine. Because I valued making money more than I valued my content, my intellectual property, and my energetic property. If you come into my world and you thrive as a consequence, that means my energy is great. That means my intellectual property is great. That means I have the capacity to support you in creating a total and complete transformation in your life. And I should be compensated as such, period, point blank. I value myself more than I value making money. I value my emotional, mental well-being more than I value the attention of men. I had so many experiences over the years of, men calling me beautiful and men treating me kindly and all this stuff. When I had just started dating, when I had turned 18 and I went to college, it was kind of like this whole new experience that I had never had before of everybody wanting me. It was very flattering. When you have that experience for a couple of years, okay, I'm sexy, I get it. Like, there's nothing more for me here. There's nothing more for me here. It doesn't make me feel special. It doesn't do anything for me. It's nice, it's flattering, it's lovely to be desired. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But it's not giving. It's not giving what I need it to give. I value my emotional well-being. I value a man who supports me emotionally and mentally, spiritually, intellectually, more than I value a man telling me that I'm pretty, because I get it and I agree and I believe it. And that's not what I need from a relationship. So now we're having a conversation about no, we're not having that conversation yet. Hold on. We're getting there. Oops, I need to plug this in. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Oh my God. Let's hope that did not glitch too badly on the recording. I think it's good. I think it's okay. Fuck it. Let's move forward. So, when you're shaky in your value, when you're not strong in your values, you're just willing to receive less than what you actually need and what you actually desire and what you actually want. And this really, 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 really boils down to worth. When you don't think that you're worthy of your value, when you don't think that you're worthy of the lifestyle you want, when you don't think that you're worthy of somebody supporting you mentally and emotionally, when you don't think that you're worthy of the lifestyle you desire, the car, the apartment, the home, the clothes, the wardrobe, the savings, when you don't think that you're worthy of that, then you're going to be more likely to not stand on your values, to be shaky when it comes to your values. So when you value in relationships being held more than you value being treated, you stay in that cycle of, I got the short-term gratification, but I did not get the long-term gratification or fulfillment of being loved and being supported and being committed to. At some point, your values change. At some point, I no longer valued the feeling of just being wanted, just being desired, just having somebody texting my phone every single fucking day. It just was giving me nothing. At some point, having clients and customers and companies paying you money that doesn't support you in reaching your financial goals, that doesn't mean anything to you. your values change and shift. When you value yourself, there is no codependency. When you value yourself, the value is the value. And this is where the grain of salt thing comes in. Earlier in the video, I talked about, I'm trying to think of exactly what I said. I talked about me being in integrity, wanting people, the right aligned people who are self-led women to get in my programs. I want them to have a great time. I want them to have access to the great work. I want them to change and grow and expand and like all that good shit, right? I had that experience, and at the same exact time, being confident in the value of my work, I understand that the value of my work is the value of my work. You pay me and you don't do the work, fuck it. That's it. That's the whole tweet. You pay me and you don't show up, oh well. The value of my work is still the value of my work. At some point, your assessment of your own value isn't reliant upon somebody else's perception. It's not reliant upon somebody else's validation. The value of the work is the value of the work. The value of the work is the value of the work. Something happened up there. I hope everything is okay. Okay. That means that no matter what, my courses hold their value. My belief in my value oh well, I'll have to just rewatch this and make sure it's good. The value of my courses, the value of my energy, the value of my intellectual property is the value, no matter what. When the value is the value, when my belief in my own value is really strong, even when people don't pay me, it's really strong, it's not budging. It's that much easier for me to attract people who align with that value. And it's that much easier. It's not that you're convincing people. It's like it's that much easier to attract people who are already convinced of your value. When you're going back and forth and you're wobbly around your own value, people aren't paying me. It's not showing up. My reality isn't reflecting it. I got to change my prices. I got to do this. Okay, I'm willing to accept less. Okay, I'm willing to accept less than what I was asking for. Your value is shaky. You're going to attract people who are shaky on your value. You're going to attract people who don't know if they should pay that price. You're going to attract people who can't afford to pay you that price. You're going to attract people who would rather wait for it to go on sale, or you're going to attract an experience where you only make sales when you're hosting a sale because you're shaky on your own value. But when you're somebody who the value is the value of what I have to offer is the value of what I have to offer. The price is the price, regardless. No matter what, the price is the price. For a long time, I didn't want to receive sales because I was afraid that if I received sales, what if they don't get good results? What if they don't have a good time? What if? That's not my job. That's not my responsibility. It's not my job to be responsible for somebody else's results. It's my job to know that my work is the shit. It's my job to know that when you get inside of those programs, when you buy those journals, when you do those meditations, when you show up, your energy is shifted. You do receive, you do grow, you do expand. If you show up in that receiver's mindset course and you practice those 7 steps for receiving now every single day, moment to moment, I bet your ass you will receive. That's my job. My job is to know that. My job is to be convinced of the value that I'm giving. My job is to be convinced that what I have to offer is something that can impact someone's feeling state for the better. That's my job. And when you know that, when you're convinced of the value of your work, when even if somebody could come into your world and tell you, I bought this and it was shit and I hated it, and you would say, sorry, that sucks. But that would not penetrate and make you question your value and whether or not you're good enough. That's when you have solid value. And for me, one of the ways that I've really created that sense of solid value within myself has been from actually using my own shit, getting high off of my own supply, if you will. One of my favorite things about my business is that when I create offers, I don't have to pay for them. I got every single one. I got all 8 of the self-concept digital journals. I got those for free. And it really did feel like a beautiful, delicious secret. It felt a little bit like I was stealing, like, oh my God, like this is so wrong. I got these incredibly valuable, amazing, wonderful journals for free. I get to go inside of the courses and have epiphanies and learn from this brilliant woman for free. I can go inside of the courses and I can look at the slides. That's what we did for today's video, because I was creating the notes and I was like, wait, I know we talk about and define value inside of the Receiver's Mindset course. So let me go inside and actually look at the slide. And yeah, so I used that information to help and inspire today's video. A couple weeks ago, I was inside of the I Can and I Should course, receiving epiphanies about being good enough. She's brilliant and insightful. I can talk about myself in that positive way. I can talk about my own value because I use my own shit, because I like my own shit, because I stand by my own shit. So when you're thinking about your work and you're thinking about your content, are you the kind of person who's looking at your work and going, I don't know if I did a good job. I don't know if it was really enough. I hope that people like it. Or are you the type of person who's showing up and going, no, this is the shit. This is good. This is excellent. I work on my own website. I'm adding testimonials to my landing pages and stuff. And as I add testimonials to my landing page, I'm like, this is so beautiful. I love this. Everybody go click on my website right now, especially if you're on a computer. If you're on a computer, it's required. It's the law for you to go and look at my website right now because it's beautiful. I love my landing page on mobile. It's okay. There were sacrifices that were made on mobile, okay? You can read it. It's a fun time. I would still recommend it. I give it like a B+. No, the energy is amazing. It's going to get 10s across the board regardless. But when you go on the desktop version, you're getting something more. You're getting something more. You're getting what you need it to give, especially like the visual vamp up page and how I have the vision board. Like I literally went back to that page recently because I'm editing testimonials into my website. And as I'm scrolling through the page and I see the vision board, it's like, wow, like you're blowing my mind all over again, girl. It's just fun. It's just a fun website to be on. It's a fun thing to play with, right? That's value. That's value. That's speaking like the woman who values herself. That's speaking like the woman who values her content, the woman who values her energy. When I value myself and I value my energy and I value my content, then it's that much easier for me to sell it to other people. And this was a shift that I had that I gave in a podcast episode a couple of weeks ago. I had posted a book on my Instagram story, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Lovely book. Somebody swipes up on my story. Oh my God, I'm going to order this book. Thanks for the recommendation. This person is ordering this book based on my recommendation, but they don't even like my Instagram posts. They're not ordering my course. What is happening? And that's when it hit me. I talk about Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert like it's this thing that changed my life and so amazing, because it is. But I don't talk about my courses that way. Well, I wasn't talking about my courses that way. I wasn't talking about my website that way. I wasn't talking about myself that way. This is such an amazing thing that everybody wants to be a part of. This is something that I would recommend. This is something that I love. This is something that I'm into. And it hit me like, whoa, major not valuing yourself alert. So when I show up and I connect with the content of my course, I use the shit inside of my course. I use my digital journals. I'm using this shit. I'm like, damn, this is good. Damn, this is good. I get inside of my digital journals. I'll be having a moment of just, needing support, needing to shift some shit. I get inside those digital journals. I answer those questions. I'm like, damn, this is good. How did you come up with this? This is amazing. So when I talk about my work, I believe that it's amazing. When I talk about my intellectual and energetic property, I believe that it's amazing. And when I believe that it's amazing, my viewers believe that it's amazing. When I believe that it's amazing, the people that I come in contact with believe that it's amazing. That energy influences people. So when you want to value yourself, you got to really start valuing yourself. You're not putting on a show for other people. You're not talking about it because it's the hot thing to talk about. You're not basing your own personal value on the shit that you see on Twitter or on social media. It's not about those stupid talking points. Whether they're stupid or not stupid doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. It's about genuinely and authentically liking yourself. I genuinely and authentically like myself. I genuinely and authentically like who I am as a leader. I genuinely and authentically like who I am when it comes to children and raising children. I'm somebody who obviously wants to be a mother. I really genuinely and authentically like who I am when it comes to children. I genuinely and authentically like who I am when it comes to raising kids. I genuinely and authentically like who I am when it comes to communication. I genuinely and authentically like who I am when it comes to maturity. I'm convinced of my value as a partner. I'm convinced of my value as a wife. I'm convinced of my value as a life partner. Because I'm so convinced of my value, it's that much easier for other people also to be convinced. And I don't like that phrasing, because you're not convincing other people. You're not going, look at me, I'm so valuable. Don't you agree? You're living in your value. You're living in your value. And you're living in your value so unshakably that even when other people don't agree, oh well, doesn't mean a damn thing, because you don't determine my value. You don't determine my value. Even when people dislike who you are, even when people dislike what you have to offer, even though there are those very not so funny, depending on who you are, kind of funny to me sometimes, stupid podcasts where men will talk about, I hate fat women. I'm sorry. Even though those podcasts exist, does that impact my value? No. Because every single time I leave this house, I don't know. 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 You know what I'm saying? My value isn't determined by what somebody else thinks. My value isn't determined by what I'm seeing in a magazine. My value isn't determined by what's happening on the television. My value isn't determined by what somebody else says is hot, because I like me. I like me. I think she's lovely. I think she's got some really good stuff going on. I like hanging out with her. I like spending time with her. Me, myself, and we get together, we have a ball. I think I probably laugh once a day. Obviously. How many times have I laughed at my own joke in this one video? Rewatch this and take a shot every single time I laugh at my own joke. Bet you'll be drunk by the end of this. I bet you will be intoxicated by the end of this video. The point is, I'm not advertising irresponsible drinking, obviously. It was just a joke. The point is, I like hanging out with me. I like being around me. I like spending time with me. I really value me. And because I really value me, it's easier for me to believe and expect that other people will value me as well. And there is some work that you might have to do around that. If you have years of momentum built up, or just momentum built up, of expecting people to dislike you. How many of us dislike ourselves because we were codependent and somebody else disliked us? Somebody else told us that we couldn't love our body. Somebody else told us that we couldn't love our personality. Somebody else told us that we were loud and that was a bad thing. I love being loud. I think it's one of the greatest things in the entire world. I could probably never get lost because I'm so loud. You wouldn't lose me in a crowd. Amen. Oh my God, such a crowded place. Where is Natalie? Oh, I hear the sound of her laughter. Amen. Amen. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just good stuff. No offense to quiet girlies, but I've been around people who are very, very quiet. And personally, I hate having to go, huh? Huh? I can't hear you. I hate that experience. I hate that experience. You will never have that experience with me. You will never have that experience of going, I can't hear you. Can you speak up? Because I'm naturally loud. Like, brilliant. Brilliant. God did his thing when he made me. Incredibly loud. Love that for her. I love who I am. And I love how I am. And me loving myself happens regardless of whether or not you agree. It doesn't have to be for you. The price is the price, regardless of whether or not you agree. It doesn't have to be for you. When the airline is deciding prices for first class, are they going, there might be somebody who's going to comment on a screenshot of this on Instagram one day, and they're going to say, $1,000 for a flight? I could build my own plane for that much. That's what people say. That much money for that? I could build my own plane for that much. I could make my own clothes for that much. I could make my own shoe. Okay, so do it and have a great time. Good luck and more power to you. The price is the price. $1,700 for a course I could teach myself how to receive for that much. So do it. It's not for you. Thank you and good day. Good luck and more power to you. The value is still the value, even when people disagree. The value is still the value, even when weird, old, racist, white women comment, what credentials do you have to be helping people? My life experience, bitch. The value is still the value, even when people disagree. The value is still the value, even when people don't get results from it, because I believe in the power of it to get good results. And I do not believe for a second that you could be somebody showing up every single day, watching the videos every single day, doing the journal prompts, doing the EFT tappings, doing the meditations, doing the scripting. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe for a second that you could be showing up every single day, not growing and expanding, not developing the skills, not getting better. Bullshit. Bullshit. Not possible. Impossible. Very unlikely. That's the belief that I have in this work. And I believe in it because of my own experience of it. So you want to start valuing yourself? Start assessing your own value. Start assessing your own time that you spend with yourself. Start assessing your own content that you create. Start assessing your own shit that you make. How many times did I not want to watch something because I was afraid that it wouldn't be good? That's creating shaky value. How many times did I want to avoid my own courses because I don't like the sound of my voice? I haven't really had that experience in a long time, but at some point I didn't want to hear the sound of my own voice. That's creating shaky value. So in this video, I'm teaching you to create value. Hang out with yourself. Hang out with your content. Hang out with your shit and fall in love with it. And if you're watching it and you're like, I don't love it, then go deeper and ask yourself why. Is it because you think you have to be something else? Is it because you think you have to do something else in order to be loved? Or is it because you're not being authentic? Is it because you're not being yourself? I can rewatch videos and listen to podcast episodes. And as I'm listening, I'll make a joke. And then right after I make the joke, me in the recording makes the same joke. And I'm like, you're really my person. Like, we're like this. Like, you get me and I get you, and we get each other. Because I didn't know she was going to make that joke. Like, I know that I recorded it, but I don't remember every single thing that that girl says. But I felt that that was a great opportunity for a joke when I re-listened to it, and she agreed. And we're here all the time. Like, all of the time. I love her. I love being around her. I value her. And so when I love her and I love being around her and I treat her well and I treat her like a princess, I believe that she's worthy of princess treatment. I believe that she deserves to be treated well. I believe that she deserves to be cared for. These are all beliefs that you actively create. These are all vibrations that you actively seek out, explore. These are beliefs that you're learning how to create inside of my course, like the Receiver's Mindset course. So you have your value. When you don't value yourself and you're codependent on other people's validation, then you're shaky and you're willing to receive things that don't actually support you and having the lifestyle that you desire. So the last thing that we're ending off with is, what value are you choosing to get from whatever it is that you're seeking out, whatever it is that you're creating, calling in, attracting? What value are you choosing to get from that relationship? What value are you choosing to get from that customer? What value are you choosing to get from that company? Excuse me. The work environment is a part of the value. Oh, our work environment is like a family. That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about energetically. What value are you choosing to get from this company? I'm exclusively available to work with the company where there's really great work-life balance. That's a conversation that you have during the interview process. I really value work-life balance. I'm really somebody who is going to clock out at 5 and I'm going to do my work until 5. I don't care about overtime. When I'm off the clock, I'm off the clock, and I'm focusing on the hobbies that I have, like this and this and this. A work culture, a company culture that understands the importance of work-life balance is incredibly important to me. And when you say that, do you have a feeling within yourself of like, whoa, if I say that during the interview process, I might not get hired? That's an indicator of limiting beliefs. For the sake of this video, through the lens of value, that's valuing being hired more than you value your mental and emotional well-being. Are you understanding what we're saying here? If I'm on the first date and I tell the guy that I'm more interested in emotional intimacy, closeness, consistency, a feeling of safety and security more than I'm interested in having sex. If I'm on the first date with a guy and I tell him I want a serious committed relationship, is that too early? Is that too soon? Is this too soon in the conversation to tell him what my intentions are? Should I date him for 3 more weeks? Why the fuck would you waste 3 weeks of your time? Why would you waste 3 weeks of your time to find out whether or not you and him want the same thing? You're avoiding it because you're shaky on your value. You're avoiding it because you don't feel worthy of a committed relationship. You don't feel worthy of being loved. You don't feel worthy of having your emotional and mental needs met in a relationship. You value attention. You value that surface level connection more than you value depth, more than you value that intimacy. And there's inner child work that should probably be done there if that's the relationship cycle that you find yourself in. Where I'm afraid to express what I want and need because then he might go away. I'll be abandoned. I'm afraid to express what I want and need to the company because then they might go away. I'll be abandoned. That's inner child work. You learn how to do that inside of the Receiver's Mindset course as well. So you're having an experience where you're willing to show up because you're the person who values themselves now. You're willing to show up and you're willing to be open and honest and direct about what you want and what you need and what you're willing to offer. You're now showing up and you're looking for compatibility. If this company isn't compatible with me, oh well, I'm looking for compatibility. If this man isn't compatible with me, oh well, I'm looking for compatibility. When you feel powerless, when you feel like there's a lack of jobs available, there's a lack of men available, you're willing to overlook compatibility. When you feel powerless to creating the experience you want, you're willing to overlook incompatibility. Well, I can't actually receive the income that I want, so I'm willing to go back on my values. I can't actually receive the love that I desire, so I'm willing to go back on my values. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So not only do you need to be strong in your own value, you need to be strong in your sense of self-worth and your perception of your own power. That's what you're learning when you invest in the Receiver's Mindset course. You're learning how to show up and be empowered. You're learning how to receive on demand. You're learning how to think like the person who receives what they want. You're learning how to think like the person who actually gets what they want and who actually gets what they desire out of life. That's what you're learning inside of the course. So you're asking yourself the question, what value am I choosing to receive from this relationship? What value am I choosing to receive from this customer? What value am I choosing to receive from this client? I want to receive a client who's self-led. I want to receive a client who's all in. I want to receive a client who takes initiative. I want to receive a client who's financially responsible. This is the value that I am looking for. And now I'm going to create systems. If you have your own business, I'm going to create systems so that I exclusively connect with and work with clients who are in alignment with this. For me, that looks like inside of my contracts. If you don't do this, then our container is over and you owe the full balance of our work together, and that's that on that. If you miss a payment more than one time, then this container is over. You owe the balance. That's that on that. What ways can you show up? What systems can you create that support your value and that support you in connecting with people who are committed to and connecting with your value? In relationships, some people have like a whole, oh, I'm not going to have sex until the third date or blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's what you should do. I wouldn't tell you that you should do anything. But you have to actually come up with something that works for you. And this idea of saying, I'm going to withhold sex until XYZ point may or may not work. What is your goal that you want? What is your goal that you desire? I want a sense of safety and security. I want a sense of connection. I want a sense of commitment. Maybe that looks like not having physical intimacy until you're married. I'm not saying that you should do that. I'm not saying that that's the only way to have that. I'm saying now you're at the point where you're challenging yourself to think in a new way. That's a part of what it means to have the receiver's mindset. When you take yourself to a place where you're thinking in a different way, you're thinking like a woman who has different values, you're thinking like a woman who receives in a different way, you're challenging yourself to think in a new way. How does she show up in her relationships? How does she deal with physical intimacy in her relationships? How does she deal with emotional and intellectual intimacy in her relationships? For me, I don't want to talk about sex because there's no need. I already know that you're physically attracted to me. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I already know that you think that I'm beautiful. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. To me, that's obvious. Obviously, we're attracted to each other. There's so many other things to talk about. So for me, that's one of my boundaries. I'd rather get to know someone as a person and decide that I like them before I decide to connect with them in that way. I don't really have the fear that someone's gonna sleep with me and ghost me, because I already show up in my relationships seeking out genuine, authentic connection, openness, and honesty. I'm a woman who trusts herself. I'm an intuitive woman who trusts herself. And everybody has infinite intelligence. You've never been in a relationship experience where, oh my God, he totally tricked me. You're lying and you're putting yourself in a victim's mindset. You're lying to yourself. I had no idea. You did have an idea. You overlooked it because you valued being held and you valued that superficial intimacy and you didn't feel worthy of more. Be honest. A part of the receiver's mindset is being willing to take radical responsibility for your own shit. I had no idea this was going to happen. Okay, fine. You live in a world where you have no idea that people have negative intentions, you don't see the red flags, then you're constantly falling into the quote unquote traps that people set for you. Live that life if you want to. Or you can have a life experience where you acknowledge and you understand, okay, he was giving a lot of I'm thinking of different examples, and there's so many things that I can't say because of YouTube and their stupid rules around monetizing and all that stuff. You have a conversation with the guy, and the guy isn't actually trying to get to know you. The guy isn't actually trying to connect with you. There's a difference. You can tell there's a difference between men who are superficial and men who genuinely and authentically want to get to know you, genuinely and authentically want to connect with you, genuinely and authentically want to form a connection with you. If you don't know how to tell the difference between that, then there's the work that you have to do. And it's kind of an intuitive thing, and it's kind of also like a human thing. It's something that I don't even know how to put words to. It's like friendship. You can tell when a guy wants to be your friend and when he does not want to be your friend. Some people don't know how to have good friendships, do they? Some people don't know how to have good relationships. Oh well, that's skills that you need to develop. We're getting off. We're getting further on tangents. I'm realizing things that I haven't really thought about. There are people who genuinely and authentically don't know how to form relationships. Don't know how to form healthy relationships. Don't know how to get intimacy and closeness. They don't have it with themselves. They don't have it with others. They don't have it with their friends. They connect with their friends through the struggle. They connect with people by focusing on everything that's going wrong in their lives. They don't actually have intimacy, closeness, or a sense of self. Jesus. If that's you, then the first thing that I would do is start focusing on how to identify how you feel and being more intimate with yourself. I would recommend getting my 6 steps from stuck to self-aware bundle, and that will help you start building out that self-awareness, which in turn will help you start building out your sense of self. Because your sense of self, your boundaries, is just how you feel about what you want to start becoming aware of how you feel. Okay. From the place of being aware of how you feel, then you'll start figuring out not just how you feel about life, how you feel about situations, how you feel about circumstances, but also how you feel about ideas, how you feel about offers, how you feel about jobs, how you feel about moving forward towards certain things. There's a lot of people who have no idea how the fuck they feel. Jesus Christ. Okay. And I'm not judging you. I just haven't thought about that in a really long time because it's so different from the way that I live. Okay. What value are you choosing to get from them? And what value do you bring to the relationship or the customer or the company? What value are you offering? Be sure of your value. Not because you need to go and have a conversation with someone else and say, this is what I bring to the table. No, so that you actually know. You actually believe it. And we've already talked about this. What do you know about your own value? What are you already convinced of around your own value? And then not only are you becoming convinced of your own value, but now you're also choosing to tap into a world and an experience where other people value that. What is it like to connect with people who value your work? What is it like to connect with people who value your love? What is it like to connect with people who value your personality? What is it like to connect with people who value what you have to offer? What is it like to connect with people whose values align with your own? What is it like to be compatible with people in that way? That's what you're learning inside of the Receiver's Mindset course. Okay? All right. That's it. That's our whole conversation today around your value, what it means to value yourself, what it means to hold your own value, how to start valuing yourself, why it's important to start valuing yourself. And if you really liked this video and you want to learn how to really practically use these tools and concepts to start receiving for more, to start receiving more, to start arguing for your desires, then I would definitely check out the Receiver's Mindset course. Inside of the course, what you're learning is exactly what the fuck I just said. I did not think about how I was going to end this video. You're learning how to develop the mindset of the person who receives. So the person who receives understands their value. The person who receives at your desired level, they understand their value. And they understand that they deserve to connect with people whose values align with their own. People who value their energy, people who value their time, people who value their effort, people who value their personality, people who value just who they are and what they have to offer, right? And they're already connecting with those people. The receiver, before they have received, they also know how to create. They know how to imagine that they're connecting with the right people who are giving them what they need. They know how to persist. They know how to manifest. They know how to step away from what's going on in this 3D reality. And they know how to create an experience in their internal world where they've received what they want and desire. If you want to learn more about the nitty-gritty of all of what this takes, then check out the Receiver's Mindset course using the link in the description box. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.